Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be sharing with you my March wrap up and my April TBR. And we're going to be picking my April TBR with my Taylor Swift cup with TBR prompts. First, I'm going to tell you about the stats for March. For March, I read 7 books, and one of them was an audiobook that I listened to, and then I also listened to half of an audiobook of one and read the other half physically. Now I'm going to start with what I read first to what I read last. Okay, so the first book that I read in March was The 5-Star Weekend by Ellen Hilderbrand. I gave this book 4.5 stars on Goodreads, and I would definitely stick with that rating. I loved this book so much. It was so good. Also love Ellen Hilderbrand's writing, and I plan to get more of her books for the summer. But if you don't know anything about this book, so basically the main character's name is Hollis. She has her own like food blog type of thing, and she's pretty popular. Her husband actually dies, and she is like, what am I supposed to do with my life? She is going through a very hard time, and so she sees this thing that someone has done called the 5-Star Weekend, where you bring one of your friends from each of the 5 stages of your life to a all expenses paid vacation, and you just talk and hang out and stuff, and it's supposed to like make her feel better. But there is a bunch of secrets that come out, and it's really interesting and intriguing, and I did not want to put this down at all. That's the first book I read in March. The second book I actually listened to on audiobook. It's The Teacher by Frida McFadden. I gave this book 1 star. I have never given a book 1 star, but I was appalled by this book and repulsed. Like, I hated this book so much. I listened to it on audiobook and I almost DNF'd it like 5 times, but I knew that Frida McFadden has like these crazy twists at the end, and honestly the ending made it worse. I went into this book blindly. I just kind of wanted to read an audiobook, and that was the first one that came up that was a mystery thriller. I didn't expect it to just simply not be a mystery thriller. Like, I don't even know what genre that was, but I'm just generally grossed out, and I really don't recommend this book. Please do not pick it up. I will never be reading a book like that ever again. And I also wanted to get through all of Frida's books because normally I really like her books. I literally have one on my TBR because they're so fast-paced and interesting, but genuinely, what was that? No. Anyways, let's move on. The third book that I read was Normal People by Sally Rooney. I gave this a 3.5 stars on Goodreads. I honestly was expecting a lot more. I think my expectations were really high because of all of the love I see on this book, and it was so popular back in like 2021, and I just now got to it. But also I still need to watch the show. I'm definitely going to do that. I've heard it's a good show. But I don't know, I just like couldn't really relate to these characters, I guess, in some ways, and I didn't feel totally connected to them. If you don't know anything about this book, it's basically about 2 characters that are literally just normal people. Like, it's kind of a romance book, but it's also like a character study, I would say. Like, it's about like growth and character development. Their similarities are just very different. They're very unlike people, and I don't know, it's just kind of hard to explain the plot of this book. I'm not really sure what the plot was. It's just kind of about 2 characters, honestly, and I don't know. In the end, I wasn't really rooting for them that much, but I don't know, I didn't hate it. I didn't love it though. The next book that I read was Powerless by Lauren Roberts. So happy I finally got to this. I've been meaning to get to it for months now, and I sped through this book. I did not want to put it down, and I think especially for Lauren Roberts, like her first debut book, this is amazing. Think of the Hunger Games, but with even more romance and even better romance. There's trials, and you basically get voted in to be one of the people that goes in the trials, and this fantasy world is very easy. Like, the world building is very easy to understand, which I kind of like. I don't know, it was mainly, this is literally like the epitome of a romantasy. Like, if you're going into this book just for the plot of fantasy, then I wouldn't recommend doing that. Definitely think of it as like a romance. So there is like a king and queen still. It's kind of in that fantasy realm, and there's something called elites and ordinaries, and the ordinaries get killed off basically by the elites and the king, and the elites have like powers and stuff, and they believe that the ordinaries like weaken their powers and all this, so that's why they like, you know. Main characters of this book are Peyton and Kai, and I really liked both of them. I thought they were amazing characters. So yeah, 4.5 stars for that book. The next book that I read is Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. This book took me like 24 hours to read, I think. It was such a cutesy little romance, and I gave this book 3 stars. Southern romance, and it's brother's best friend. Definitely going to continue this series because it's an easy, short palate cleanser book, and I love those books when I can just like take a break from a fantasy series or any series in general or anything like that and just pick up like a cutesy little romance. But my favorite romances are the emotional, like where you connect to the characters' romance, and this one was definitely very physical, which is not my favorite thing because I love when the characters like connect and have like depth in their relationship, but it was such a really cute book and I do like the characters. This next book, I listened to 60% of it on audiobook and I read the last like 100 pages of it. This is Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. This book is basically about literally Dolly Alderton and every experience she's had with love or something that kind of correlates with love throughout her 20s and 30s. I really loved this book. I 100% recommend listening to the audiobook. The only reason I didn't finish it on audiobook was because I ran out of hours on Spotify, which was so sad. I gave this book 5 stars because in the end it was just something where I was like, that was really good. I really liked it. I had a great time and everything like that. Overall, it was just an amazing read and I don't know, I just loved it. And I just love memoirs so much. I need to read more. I've only read a few, but the ones that I've read have just been amazing and so intriguing. And the last book that I read this month, I actually just finished it today, this morning, and it's 6 of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I'm so happy I got to this book, which is why I love doing the TBR videos because this was on my TBR and it's been on my TBR for almost 4 years now. Like, I bought it in freshman year and I'm in my senior year now. So that's pretty embarrassing, but I'm really glad I got to it. I ended up giving it a 3.5 stars because I think if I read the Shadow and Bone trilogy before, I would have been able to understand it more. I don't know why my brain like couldn't grasp the plot this whole time. It's supposed to be like a young adult book too, which is like, am I just dumb or something? I don't know. And basically, from what my understanding is, this book is about 6 friends or kind of like a gang in the Crow Club, I think it's called, and they have to go on a mission or like a heist kind of to find a certain character in this book. It is set in the world of Ketterdam, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. This world is kind of interesting. I know it's called the Grishaverse. I don't think I'm going to read Shadow and Bone. I think I'm going to honestly pick up the next book after this one, which is Crooked Kingdom, and just finish off that duology. That was all for my March wrap up, and now we're going to pick my April TBR, which I'm so excited for. I look forward to this every single month ever since I started it in January, and I think we're going to pick 7 books. Here is my full TBR cart. I have some new ones that I just got last night, which I'm really excited to read. So every time almost read my whole physical TBR, which is, I know a lot of people like end up not doing that, but for some reason I just like do it. I've only didn't read 2 books this time that were on my physical TBR. Okay, so let's pick the first prompt. So this says, a book with a cover that is your favorite color. So my favorite color is navy blue, so I'm gonna see if I have any books that are navy. Okay, this is actually really funny because 2 of the books that I literally got last night are the only 2 that have navy blue. And the first book is The Wishing Game. As you can tell, like, most of this book is navy blue. And the second one is The Way I Used to Be, which right here is navy blue. Yeah, just for the sake of like sticking to the prompt the most, I'm gonna pick The Wishing Game. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't know anything about this book. I just know that it's kind of getting some hype and I'm really excited to read it. I've heard really good things. So this is the first book on our April TBR. Alright, time to pick prompt number 2. Oh my gosh, so this one is a free choice, so that means I get to pick any book that I want to read. I actually already know which one I'm gonna pick. The book that I picked is Beach Read by Emily Henry. I have been meaning to get to this for almost a year now, and lately I've just been seeing a lot of things about Emily Henry lately. Like, I think everyone's kind of going back and like reading her whole backlog, and I really want to do that. I've only read Happy Place and I'm super excited to read this book. I was honestly going to read this book this month anyway, so I'm glad that I got to pick it. And I know there's a movie coming out and she keeps hinting towards the cast and stuff. I am keeping up with all that, even though I haven't even read Beach Read yet. But this month, I'm definitely going to read it. And I'm pretty sure this is an enemies to lovers book. I think so. All right, time for prompt number 3. This one is a book with pink on the cover. We're picking a lot that have to do with the covers. Actually, quite a few of my books have pink. 4. So the first one is My Magnolia Summer. I got this in Charleston and I can't wait to read it. But I was gonna save this for summertime, so also it's signed. The next one is The Love Wager by Lynn Painter. Mary Jane. This book was one of the only books I didn't read on my March TBR, but it's With Love from Cold World. So let's see. Okay, I decided I'm gonna go with The Love Wager. I just read the back and it actually sounds so interesting. Basically, it's kind of like a fake dating trope, but the guy and the girl are both trying to find love and they become like each other's wingman, kind of. They set each other up on dates at restaurants and they're also there but not like in the date, you know what I mean? And they decide that if the date doesn't go well, then they will go out after instead. I don't know, I think that's just like kind of a cool concept. I like that. They agree to like fake date at a wedding. I don't know, I think this sounds really interesting, so we're gonna go with The Love Wager. Prompt number 4. Oh no. This one is a book over 500 pages. Okay, so there's like 3 that stand out to me. So the first one, I think this is over 500. Yeah, this is almost 600 pages, but it's Things We Left Behind, which I do really need to finish this trilogy. Then Love Redesigned is about like 520 pages. Obviously, A Court of Silver Flames is like 1,000 pages, so I don't think I'm ready for that one yet. So between these two, I'm gonna go with Things We Left Behind just because I know that I really need to finish this trilogy off. We have almost all romance books right now. I need one that's not a romance because I feel like that will put me in a slump. 3 more books to read anyway, or to pick. Here is number 5. Oh my gosh. Wait, this is so funny. So the one that I got is a fantasy book, which is perfect for what I just said. And I honestly just realized literally all my books that I have on my TBR are romance almost. So that's definitely my fault. I only have 2 books right now that are fantasy. One of them is A Court of Silver Flames, which I am not ready for. And then the other one is A Touch of Darkness. And this is like a spin-off of Persephone, which is the goddess of spring, and also Hades, which is the god of dead. That's all I know about it, but I'm really intrigued about it, so I'm glad that I got this on my TBR this month. We only have 2 more left, so this is number 6. The book that's been on your TBR the longest. Alright, what's been on my TBR the longest is Addicted to You. The start of the Addicted series. I've had this book, I think I got this like 2 Christmases ago and haven't read it. I started it a few times and I just couldn't get into it, but I've heard this series is amazing. Anyways, so I am excited to start this series. I definitely don't need to start a new series, but you know, what are you gonna do? I have so many books that I need to buy already to finish off series. So we'll just add to the list, I guess. Final prompt, we're gonna choose number 7. Alright, a standalone book. Okay, I promise I'm not making these prompts up. I can't believe I'm getting like the ones that I need. Okay, so I think I'm going to choose The Coworker by Frida McFadden. Hopefully she can redeem herself from the last book that I read from her. That was terrible, but anyways, so this is a mystery thriller and it sounds kind of scary. I don't know, I get really scared honestly in thrillers, so we'll have to see how I end up after this one, because eerie books, no, I don't do scary things. So that is all of the prompts we're going to choose today. I'm just going to do a quick run through of them. The first book we chose was The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. The second book we chose was Beach Read by Emily Henry. Number 3 is The Love Wager by Lynn Painter. Number 4 is Things We Left Behind by Lucy Score. Number 5 is A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. Number 6 is Addicted to You by Kristen Becker Ritchie. Last but not least, we have The Coworker by Frida McFadden. I'm so excited for this month's reads, and let me know in the comments if you guys want to read any of these books or if you have read any of these books, and let me know your thoughts also. My Goodreads will be in the description if you guys want to check it out and keep up with what I'm reading, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!